The day Clara announced her pregnancy was the day she lost everything. Her boss didn't congratulate her. He didn't even look surprised. He simply slid a termination letter across the desk and said, "Pregnant women are liabilities to this company." She walked out, humiliated, unemployed, and alone. But 5 years later, she walked back into that same company as its majority shareholder. Clara had been the most reliable secretary at Harrington Holdings for 7 years. Hi, my wonderful family. Welcome back to your reality channel. It's my prayer for you that God Almighty would make a mighty turnaround for you and your family, so you can enjoy all-round rest and victory. Amen. Now, before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment where you are watching from. Drop it in the comments. I am with you, Mr. Reality. Let this story go round the world to heal hearts and give hope to everyone on this earth. Now, the full story. Always early, never complained, trusted with confidential documents. She believed loyalty mattered, until the day she requested maternity leave. Mr. Harrington didn't even pretend to be sympathetic. "Your position requires stability. We can't have disruptions." Clara tried to reason. "I've given this company years of my life." He adjusted his cufflinks. "And we've paid you for them." Security escorted her out. Her co-workers watched in silence. No one spoke. No one helped. And just like that, 7 years of loyalty vanished in one afternoon. The months that followed were brutal. No company wanted to hire a visibly pregnant woman. Bills piled up. Savings disappeared. She sold her car, then her jewelry, then moved into a tiny apartment. But Clara refused to break. At night, after her baby slept, she studied business online. Accounting, management, investing. She learned how companies worked and how they failed. Years passed. Her daughter grew. And Clara slowly rebuilt her life. First as a remote assistant, then operations manager, then partner in a small logistics firm. The firm grew rapidly. Smart, on decisions, lean strategy, relentless discipline. Within 4 years, it was worth millions. Meanwhile, Harrington Holdings was collapsing. Poor leadership, bad investments, executive turnover. Mr. And Harrington blamed everyone but himself. Banks lost confidence. Shareholders panicked. The company quietly went up for acquisition. That's when Clara saw the opportunity. Not revenge, closure. 5 years after her firing, Clara stepped back into Harrington Holdings. But this time, no security escorted her. They opened doors. Executives stood as she entered the boardroom. Mr. Harrington looked up, confused, annoyed, then uneasy. The chairman cleared his throat. "Mr. I Harrington. This is Ms. Clara Bennett. I know who she is. She represents the investment group that has acquired 62% of Harrington Holdings." Silence swallowed the room. Clara met his eyes, calm, steady, unshaken. "You?" "Yes, me. You were my secretary, and you were my employer. The board has voted to remove you as CEO, effective immediately." The same words he once used, same tone, same finality. "You can't do this. I already have." Security entered. This time, for him. "You planned this." "No. I survived you." He stopped walking. For the first time, he truly understood. Later that day, Clara stood in the CEO office overlooking the city. the same building she'd once been expelled from. Her daughter's photo sat on the desk. The real reason she never gave up. No one will ever be fired here for becoming a mother. She lost her job for being pregnant. But she returned as the owner. Because sometimes, the door that closes on you becomes the one you buy. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you believe karma always finds its way back, subscribe to this channel for more powerful stories of justice, survival, and comeback. Because the next story might just leave you speechless, and you won't want to miss it. What would you do if the person who promised to protect you became the one who abandoned you? What if the accident that paralyzed your body was the same moment that revealed who truly loved you? She lost her legs. She lost her marriage. She lost her children. But what her husband didn't know was that he had just created the most dangerous version of her. Because when you leave a determined mother with nothing to lose, you don't break her. You build a billionaire. If you believe pain can become power, if you believe setbacks are setups for something greater, I need you to subscribe right now. And in the comments, type, "I am with you, Mr. Reality." Let's see who's really riding with us. Now, let me tell you how a paralyzed mother went from being thrown out of her own home to owning the very system that once sided against her. And nobody ever thinks the person who promises forever will be the one who pushes you out the door. But that's exactly what happened to Aria Bennett. 3 years ago, Aria Bennett was everything her husband, Damian Bennett, claimed he wanted. Devoted wife, hands-on mother, the kind of woman who remembered every school recital, every doctor's appointment, every little detail about their twins, Noah and Ivy. Then the accident happened. A rainy night on the Pacific Coast Highway. A speeding truck. One terrible second. When Aria woke up in a hospital in Los Angeles, she couldn't feel her legs. The doctors used gentle voices and complicated words. Spinal cord trauma, incomplete paralysis, long-term rehabilitation. But the only words that echoed in her head were, "You may never walk again." Damian cried at first. He held her hand. And he promised he'd be strong for both of them. But strength is easy in a hospital room. It's much harder at home. 6 months later, the man who once carried her across the threshold carried resentment instead. The house grew quieter. His late nights grew longer. His patience grew thinner. Until one afternoon, standing in the living room of the house she helped design, Damian said the words that shattered what was left of her heart. "This isn't the life I signed up for, Aria." Not long after that came the divorce papers. He painted her as unstable, emotionally fragile, unable to adequately care for the twins because of her condition. His family had money, his lawyers had influence, and the court believed him. Aria lost primary custody. Then she lost the house. Then finally, she lost the illusion that love alone could protect her. And the day she was wheeled out of that home, her children stood by the staircase crying. Noah clutched his sister's hand. Ivy kept asking, "Mommy, when are you coming back?" Aria forced a smile so they wouldn't see her break. "Soon," she whispered. But she had no idea how. For months, Aria lived in a small one-bedroom apartment in San Diego. The silence was unbearable. There were no toys on the floor, no bedtime stories, no tiny arms wrapping around her neck, just medical bills, rehab sessions, and the quiet hum of her laptop. Because here's what Damian forgot. Before she became a full-time mother, Aria Bennett was a software engineer, not average, brilliant. She had once built a predictive AI model during grad school at Stanford that impressed half of Silicon Valley. She left that world willingly to raise her children. But pain has a way of reintroducing you to who you used to be. Every night after physical therapy, when her body felt heavy and useless, her mind refused to give up. She began coding again. At first, it was just to distract herself. Then she noticed something. Most tech platforms ignored accessibility. Apps weren't built for people with mobility challenges. Navigation systems weren't designed for wheelchairs. She didn't just see a gap, she lived it. And that's when the idea came. A fully integrated smart city navigation system designed specifically for people with disabilities, real-time accessibility mapping, AI route adjustments, building compatibility scoring. She named it Pathable, because everyone deserves a path. For a year, she worked alone. No team, no investors, just caffeine, determination, and a mother's quiet rage. Rejections came fast. Too niche. Not scalable. Low market demand. She heard it all. But Aria had already lost everything. There was nothing left to fear. Then one afternoon, a venture capitalist named Elias Monroe requested a meeting. He didn't pity her. He didn't soften his questions. He challenged her projections. He dissected her code. And when she finished answering every single objection without blinking, he leaned back and smiled. "I'm not investing because of your story," he said. "I'm investing because you're a visionary." 6 months later, Pathable launched in 3 major California cities. Within 2 years, it expanded nationwide. Hospitals partnered with her. Airports licensed her software. City planners integrated her technology into infrastructure development. The company valuation crossed $800 million. Then headlines called her the accessibility queen of tech. But none of that mattered, because every business move she made had one goal: her children. Meanwhile, Damien's life looked glamorous on social media. New wife, new luxury condo in Malibu, lavish vacations. But wealth built on ego cracks quickly. His investment firm made reckless moves. A market downturn exposed hidden debts. Within a year, lawsuits followed. Then bankruptcy. The same court system that once favored him now reviewed his financial instability. And this time, Aria walked into the courtroom, not physically, but symbolically, stronger than ever. She had resources, legal power, a stable empire, and proof. Proof that disability did not equal incapability. When the judge granted her primary custody, Aria didn't cry. She breathed. For the first time in 3 years, she breathed. The day Noah and Ivy moved into her new oceanfront home in La Jolla, they ran toward her wheelchair like nothing had changed. Because to them, she was never broken. She was Mom. That night, as she tucked them into bed, Ivy traced the wheels of her chair and whispered, "Did you become a superhero?" Aria smiled. "No," she said softly. "I just refused to quit." Success wasn't revenge. It was restoration. Damien once believed a woman who couldn't walk couldn't lead, but Aria Bennett built an empire from a chair the world tried to define her by. And in the end, she didn't just reclaim her children, she reclaimed herself. Because sometimes the person who gets thrown out of the house becomes the one who owns the city. Some people walk away when life gets hard. Others rebuild their life from the ground up. Ilara Vaughn didn't get her legs back. She didn't rewind time. She didn't erase the betrayal. She simply decided that her pain would not be the final chapter of her story. And that's the real power here. Not the billions, not the headlines, not the courtroom victory. The power was in the moment she chose not to quit. Because sometimes life will strip you of comfort. It will test your loyalty. It will expose the people who only loved the convenient version of you. But it can never take your vision. It can never take your mind. And it can never take the fire inside you, unless you let it. So if this story moved you, if you believe setbacks can become comebacks, if you believe strength isn't about standing, but about refusing to stay down, make sure you subscribe right now. And in the comments, and type, "I am with you, Mr. Reality." Let's build a community of people who don't fold under pressure. Because here on this channel, we don't just tell stories, we remind you who you are when the world forgets. And trust me, the next story, it might hit even harder.